Hey, Bri, doesn't it suck that the boss is always over our shoulder when we're trying to talk?
Jay, he should be entertained by us. Let's get out of here and finish this conversation.
All right, but as long as it's not work related.
Jay, how's it going?
I am snowy, bro.
I want to welcome everyone to the Work Related Podcast.
We did not get snowed in. We are related by work on Twitter.
On X, yes, and we are going to get a whole bunch more snow this weekend. I'm actually going to put the car in the garage tonight, actually, probably.
Why is it in the garage all the time?
I don't know.
You know what's funny is I just assumed that you couldn't fit that car in your garage.
No, it can fit.
And then I just assumed once you couldn't get your car in the garage, this is me transfixing my problems onto you, that you just ended up throwing shit into the garage, and then there's no way it'll fit.
Slightly, but I could make it. Like, usually this is the only reason why I couldn't fit it right now, probably, but I haven't really tried, is because the lawnmower is still in the garage, and usually at the end of the summer, I put the lawnmower in the basement.
Basement?
Yeah, I put the lawnmower in the basement.
That seems ridiculous.
Yeah, I just always do it.
Your basement smell like gas?
No, I have an electric lawnmower.
You have an electric lawnmower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I was saying that, I was about to.
Come on, I'm a nerd. I'm not buying gasoline stuff, except for motorcycles and cars.
You would still never buy an electric car?
No.
I'm so buzzed out that people buy electric snowblowers. I could use one right now because my gas one's fucked.
The funny thing is, my friend, he's like a DeWalt, like big DeWalt guy, and he has an electric snowblower, and he put it on Instagram that he was snowblowing the snow from the storm that we just had. And I'm like, and I seen him going out, he pushed it out to his garage. And I'm like, there's no way he's doing that with an electric snowblower. And he freaking does it easily.
Nice.
I'm like, frick, you forget how far technology comes.
Is it brand spanking?
I don't think it's brand spanking, but it's...
I wondered how like a 5-year-old one compares to a new one now. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like how that battery, you're right, because I'm agreeing with you, but how quick the technology, because we're still in that mode of, if it's electric, like it's not going to work in the winter with the snow and all that.
Yeah, I still do feel that way.
And I feel it too.
But no, this guy was throwing snow like 12 feet. Like you could see it going all, I'm like, what the hell? And we're talking
jealous.
6, 7, 8 inches of snow?
I'm jealous because I did not use my snowblower at all last year. And then I went to go use it because of this snowstorm. So this is like Friday now, and like Wednesday night, it snowed like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I left work at like 6, and there was already like a couple inches of snow on my car. And I got home okay. Tammy was a little bit nervous coming home okay. And so we got home, and I shoveled the driveway. There was already like about 2.5 inches, 3 inches of snow on the driveway and things. So shoveled that. Still thinking I'm going to go to work in the morning, or like go to work on Thursday.
Naive.
These it's this fucking nerfed world that I'm in. I might as well enjoy it. That I also can't stand where they close schools and they close buses like days before it actually snows.
Yeah.
Just on the weather report.
When I was going to school, you would wake up in the morning and have to figure that shit out.
What do you think? How dare you say when I was going to school? Like I get to say that 15 years before you. So we all get to say that kind of shit. So I live in that world, and I think part of it is I might have said this in the way before. I still don't trust the weather report, which is actually very good. Like for the past whatever decade, I don't know. Like
for
just
sure.
like an electric snowblower. Like I have not given the technology of weather reporting the ability to pinpoint what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, they're way better than they were back in the day.
Oh yeah.
So, but in this game kind of nerfed world, having a meeting about a snowstorm that hasn't happened yet, that most of the time isn't as bad as they usually say it's going to be.
You always think,
But then this fucking thing hit hard.
Yeah.
So they had a meeting, like, you don't have to come in, and like, if it, like the snow, be safe. And these are for people that live very far from my work.
Yeah.
I'm like a 10-minute drive in the best of times with a drive-through stop.
yeah.
And so I have a 4-wheeler. It's not like high as Tammy's Jeep, but I got a four-wheel drive. So I would think I'm okay in this kind of stuff. But so whatever. So I shovel the snow. I'm getting ahead of myself. I shovel the snow in the evening time. We shovel it again at 10:30 before we go to bed, and it's just coming down.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, whatever we do now is going to be that much better for when we come. So twice we shoveled like 4 inches of snow, and then in the morning I get up at 5:30, and it might have stopped by then, but it might have still come a little bit down. And I go, okay, what do we got? I open the fucking garage. Like, I'm already in a shitty mood to go to work, whatever it is, and my
You're
effort
supposed to have
was
good
there.
moods, Jay.
What?
Good moods for work, remember?
I'm trying, yeah. But, so this is what I'm up. I'm going.
Yeah,
like,
you
I'm
are
not.
there.
I'm not.
You did open the
have it-
garage.
I did open the garage. I got my everything fucking bundled up, and right away I see it. It's like fucking 10 inches of snow, like fucking 20
ridiculous.
centimeters, whatever you want to say. It was so high.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. And then, again, trying to be positive. Well, can you imagine what it would have been like if you never did any of it last night?
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
like, fuck this. So I'm going. And so I'm shoveling snow for an hour and a half, just my driveway and the sidewalk. See, I'm jealous of I love my house and wherever everything, the property, everything about it, except for when I'm jealous of the people on the other side of the street that don't have a sidewalk.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it if you don't
Oh
want.
my god, I would never get a house with a sidewalk.
Yeah, I've realized this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how, I never thought of that before.
Yeah.
I don't even know when we bought the house if we knew what side of the sidewalk would be on, right? Because it was still in the planning stages. So that part, I got to go do it and whatever. So, and like with the way all the houses are close together, it's not like we live downtown Toronto or something, but you feel that there's nowhere to even put the fucking snow.
Yeah.
So I get to I put all at the bottom and I go to get my snowblower and it won't start. Like, I didn't use it at all last year, as I think I started this conversation off. And then so I go to plug it in and go with an electric start and just and I'm like, fuck. It might be because the gas is too old in it. It's like 2-year-old gas. Like,
Yep,
just fucking work. How dare you not like 2-year-old gas? I don't know.
Electric.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it would have done me fine.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with that. I long ago went from the first piece. We still have a gas lawnmower, but I do have an electric weed whacker.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I had to get an
Would
old.
you ever go back?
No, of course not. You know how
Yeah.
fucking hard my shoulder hurts just thinking of trying to start the
thing?
fucking gas one. That's why I ended up getting the other one. We had the gas one for so long, and you got to prime the pump,
Prime it and all that
do all this bullshit
bullshit.
stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like this fucking heavy thing. This isn't working. I spent like $99 and got like a little electric one, and never looked back.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. It's not. But it's not as heavy duty as the other one, but blah, blah. It works just fine. So, yeah, I see that technology coming, but so when I went to use it, it wasn't working. So I had to shovel the end of the driveway, do everything. But like I said, the road is like 2.5 feet of fucking snow, it looks like. My neighbor gets stuck in their minivan, have to fucking push them back into their driveway. And I'm like, so at that point I said, fuck it, I'm not going in. And then I called in, sick, sore back, shoveling that snow.
Of course.
And so, but I'm just like feel trapped. Like there's nothing. Like I said, it's just my street. Tammy tried to get out in the Jeep. She got stuck a little bit. I said, "Fuck it." You're like, she's nervous driving in the snow. I even said to her, "Do you want me to drive you? This is fine." Like, so I called in work, went back to fucking bed. She gets up a little bit later, and so I'm like, she wakes me up to tell me she's getting ready to go to work, and I'm like, is she gonna want me to drive her? And I'm like, the good Samaritan in me and the good husband and the Valentine partner, all that kind of shit. It's just like, you should offer.
Yeah.
And I'm all snug in bed now. Like, I came back in, like, I was freezing from being out there for so long. She had fucking heated me up and took care of me. And now I'm thinking, like, fuck, she's going to want me to drive. I should do it. And then so for a back and forth, but I'm so snug. Oh, I don't want to, but I should do this. So I'm like,
Yeah.
so I lie there for another 10 minutes as she's getting ready and go, yeah, do you want me to take you? And she's like, no, because you'd have to come back and then you might get stuck. Like, like, I'll be fine. I can do it. So I got up to watch her try to leave and then it didn't happen. I had to push her back in. So I phoned in. So I feel a little, so I don't, see. I see it on her end. Like, I don't think she should have any guilt whatsoever about trying to go. I don't feel that much guilt. We've had this conversation already today, but I feel a little bit guilty about phoning in for a snow day, living so close to the place. And like I said, I wish I could show a picture of my street to show how bad it is.
Yeah, the streets were terrible.
And so I know nobody's taking it as hard as I ultimately think they could take it, but it was a great snow day and it was all that fun, but it was, I don't know. I felt a little bit, what are they thinking about me for doing this type of thought? I felt very less dedicated of an employee. Not that even I could do anything about it. Like, that's what I was just resting. I was just like, it is what it is.
Jay, you're dedicated enough. You have decent attendance, so
Yeah, I know you know everything about what goes on at work, so I don't need you to just say something to coddle
too
me in a
bad.
way.
Too bad.
No, but I take you for your word. Like, I know that. Like, that it is a calming enough influence for me even when, as an older guy, I know I'm not as fast as the guy beside me, all that. And you're, the best thing for you for me that you do at that moment is just say, they don't think that. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about that. You're doing you. You know what I mean? Like, even if there is a comparison on two people doing the same job, their expectation is you're still living up to your expectations, whatever those are. Even if in my mind they go, oh, I wish he was just as fast as this younger, fitter guy that's been doing it longer, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Like I can't take that on. When it's somebody else like Tammy or whatever, like or you with like production stuff, I can instantly say, "Well, this guy should not take this on," right? But I'm not putting myself. I could be told that too, but I still do, right? Like I you know what I mean? It's not as important for you to, or it is. You say like to watch me live in that frustration. You just like brush it off, but it is. When I'm saying it to you, it is frustrating to not have you apparently hear it as I want you to. You know what I mean? Like you're not doing anything wrong or taking my advice. It's just like, oh, I wish you would hear how, you know what I mean? Like what we're saying right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking into account, I'm not like, I don't know if everybody does that. Like, I don't know, like, because Tammy took the day off and then everybody else got to her work too. And they were like, oh, I hope you guys, I'm sorry to put you in that position. Like, she's talking to them like that. And they're like, no, it's fine. Like, we're all did. They go, but just know we are making fun of you because you do have the best car for this. And you were the only one who didn't make it in. And she's like, that's true. I got to take that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not nefarious.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no point living in whatever negativity that's there. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's not life-changing, but it is a pattern if you do that as a person. Like always negative, like with trying to get fit or weight loss. It's just like, I can't live in that I'm not losing a pound a day, right? Like, it's just like, first you got to live in you're not gaining anymore.
Yeah.
And then look at yourself, what could you do better and whatever it is. And not live in that like frustration, you know what I mean, of your wants or what you think other people. And that's what I'm saying in a weight loss thing or other thing. It's just you and your thoughts. With this thing, you think there's other people you're letting down or whatever it is. Yeah. And so that's where it comes from. Like, I want to still be looked at as a good employee. And so when I use this as an excuse not to come in, I look at it as somebody's going to use it. I'm looking at it as an excuse not to come in. And realize it's not as cut and dry as that. But then I'm also giving it way more thought than other people are.
100%.
Yeah, see, you see that.
Yeah.
And so I want you to say the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's harder because you're going to have another production meeting about something else, and I'm showing you your receipts, you see your receipts, and just like, I'm guessing in your mind, you go, by having the receipts and getting out of some of your, I'm talking like you, out of my frustration and what they can't see what's going on, it's also showing receipts, but is it also throwing people under the bus? Yeah. And you're reluctant to do that. And I get that because that's not who you are, but ultimately, like, that's a consequence of just showing receipts.
Yeah.
Especially when your boss is just asking for receipts. This is like where it's not your fault anymore. Yeah. Like, it's not my fault with the snow. It's not my fault that everything, you know what I mean? Like, just because other people are doing whatever it is.
So do you feel obligated, like you should show receipts in those situations? Like, do you, not that you are going to, but like, do you feel like you need, oh shit, I should take a picture of this just in case these guys.
Part of me does.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted to, like, again, but it's not going anywhere. It would almost raise more questions. Like, if I did, like, why does this guy keep showing me random minivans stuck on the road? Yeah. Like, it's not, the message won't fully be there because it'll just be translated through phone and text, and it's unnecessary. Like, the simple fact is I couldn't make it in. Like, my track record speaks for itself.
For sure.
Like, I can see, oh my God, this could be done in a company man type of way. Even like wanting to come in today and do all that. But part of it's like, you know what? Like, don't take it on. You had to call in. It was sick. So it is what it is. Like, my expectations, I tried. I did that. So my receipts, you're right. Part of me wants to show those receipts. If we ever had that conversation before, or if it came up in a different way, you would say, don't worry about it. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, are you kidding me? You compare that to that and that. So when you say it to me in a like these, we had a production meeting and this was going on, and can you believe that? And I say to you, it's like, yeah, I wish you could show your receipts in a way. And just like you did personally with Tariq about like a low-key matter, it's just like, at one, it's satisfying, but it just went nowhere after that.
Didn't get my firework.
You didn't get nothing. You just got, that's really all you're going to get in that moment. Mm-hmm. He tried to say something wasn't like that. You showed him a picture, like I told you to before. That's all you have to, you're being forced to show a receipt. So if I was like got written up for not coming in, then I would be like forced to show a receipt in a way. Yeah. So you're kind of being written up in that way. So as a friend, I want you to show the receipts. And you go, and you can come back and you go, well, isn't that going to throw this other person under the bus? I go, that you're being forced to do that. And I wonder if this is different in an office dynamic, or maybe this is where you're work related into people like that have that kind of in that kind of relationship. Because I don't have to have that kind of relationship. Like my relationship is, here's a book and this is what we need done. It'd be great if this could be done in 130 hours. Johnny and Tariq could do it in 100 hours. We need these, and I just like wave my hand and go, okay, can I see the book, please? And can I just, I'll do it. And I don't have to be babysat. Yeah. And it is what it is. And the worst case scenario is like, oh man, I wish we had 2 Johnnies building these. Or I wish Tariq was doing this instead of whatever it is. And then they also have to look at, oh, well, we can't just have only 2 guys. Like we do eventually have to show another guy. Even right now, we do eventually have to show another guy.
100%.
And I've even said it out loud. Like, and so again, that's not on me. I recognize my part in it, but so I'm so insular. I'm me and the book. And the people that are giving me the material. Yep. Like I never have to talk to the people you're talking to about it. And our main boss is such a buck passer that it just gets like thrown down onto you. Like I said, like he's making you figure it out. So like I said, so when the conversation we had before is like this run of trucks that we're doing, you guys have to get dedicated. This is what Brian said to me. Like they had a conversation about both of you shifts, you supervisors, have to get dedicated guys working on this so we can get it done faster and get it more, get these hours that are rising compared to what it was before. And you and I says you've already done that. Like your shift, the number of guys you have, you've already dedicated these guys to it. You realize that that's the only way to get this done. And so by saying that, is that a receipt or throwing them under the bus by saying this must mean they aren't?
That's throwing them under the bus.
Okay, but how is that different than just showing the receipt that you're doing it? Like, you know what I mean? They have no receipt to show. Yeah. Whose fault is that? Like, okay, so then how long do you just go? Is it a team? Oh, do you think that's anti-team building or anti-team player?
I do think it's anti-team player, and I think that because I feel like that we're just looked at as like a whole group, regardless. No matter, even though everybody else, short of our boss, knows that there's a difference between the 2 shifts in all departments, right?
Yeah.
The boss doesn't see a difference.
Yes.
And that's the hardest. So I feel like throwing someone under the bus is like throwing myself under the bus. In certain situations.
I feel you. I think that I would tell you that's like hearing me overthink things. Like that's your version of overthinking that thought.
For sure.
And like I said to you before, when we've talked in ways like, ultimately you're just going to get frustrated with the lack of accountability from other people. I don't know if that includes them not recognizing what you're doing. I don't know what that frustration is, but I can just picture you like already having enough of this place as we speak right here today. And if another opportunity came along, however it was, either you're looking for it or it came to your doorstep, you would be like, I think I've tried my best here.
I'd probably entertain it more at this point.
Then so imagine if that happens and then you go and then they're going to want to know why you don't want to work here anymore. And you're going to tell them. And I'm going to say that's so less satisfying than telling them when you could fix it.
For sure.
And you're a problem solver.
But I just assume, because I agree with you. I consider myself a problem solver, but I also think that everybody should problem solve themselves, and they have their own jobs to problem solve as well. So why should I have to force you to see the reality of the situation? That to me just makes no sense. If I have somebody come to me and say, listen, this is happening, I know you don't see it, this is happening, and it's really bothering the person, it's my job to pay attention to that. You know what I mean? So why is it that I'm the only person doing that? I'm just being general, but why am I the only person doing that? Why can't everybody else do that as well above me in the steps? Like, it's just that's the type of stuff that bothers me about it. I shouldn't have to force people to do their job when people are forcing me to do my job.
And those are valid. I can't disagree with you at all with what you're saying. What I would want you to focus on more now is that that's happening every time. That's going to happen at any other place.
Yeah.
And your ability to affect change, I think you don't. all the time, you don't concentrate on the change that you do affect. And you're no matter what, like you're always going to get asked more. Like your desire to not throw anybody under the bus is happening to you as you're getting thrown under the bus, not by the people that you would end up having to throw the bus. And this is why I have disrespect for people that I have. Like I'm conflicted on how I feel about the higher ups. Like I don't even want to say like the one person, because they're throwing you under the bus and making you come up with receipts, and you're turning that into, I can't give them what they want in this manner because it's going to expose somebody else in a personal way that I don't want to expose.
Yes.
And I'm saying you already do that. Like you can't help that that's what they're asking you to do. Ultimately, you're not befriending Marcel. You're not going to befriend Marcel because you're frustrated with how he acts. If you were frustrated how Booby acts, you fix it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to understand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to understand the change that this person has made. He's a fuck up. He's crazy. He's fucking. I'm not even going to get into the personal fucking aspects, but he knows how to train people.
Yeah,
you talked about you were so upset with Tariq overpowering. You're using his overpowering personality to belittle Booby in a way, saying, trying to show him how to train people. And however you watch that conversation, all you can think of is like, tell him you know how to do this better than he does, because you've been doing it for over 2 years now, because I've made you do it for over 2 years now. I needed you to do this, and you've gotten better over those 2 years. You couldn't imagine that person 2 years, like from day one to today. So that's growth that you've made for your benefit, for Booby's benefit, but mostly for the company's benefit and for everything that goes in. So every time you get thrown under the bus, all those things are just gone. And then if you stand up for that, that's not throwing anybody under the bus. Like, that's a afterthought of showing the receipts. And so that's one thing, to have other people recognize that thing, but Booby recognizes it. Your guys on the floor recognize it. Even if you come with a receipt, just like showing, somebody tells you the place is dirty, and I told you weeks ago, show a picture of it. Like, show, and it's like, that's such a childish thing to do. I go, but so is accusing you of not cleaning it. So then the fruit came to bear this week when Tariq came to you and said, your guys are fucking leaving a dirty place.
My moment.
And then you showed the picture. And I like, that's all you, but I like felt pride because I wanted you to do that. And you would have done it anyway, but because we had that conversation, now you have the proof. And then the unsatisfaction is like, he just laughs it off and goes, and that's what a troll does.
Yeah.
And then so there's no
winning.
You just won't have to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. So the same thing comes with this, like, how come these jobs are over hours? We need the dedicated guys. So if it was me, I would love to sit in that situation, especially if you know you don't care, you want to be here anymore. I know that's not the right words, but you're thinking about another place right now for months
I would
now.
entertain
you
it
would
as
entertain
well.
it. So having that entertaining thought, knowing that you are a commodity, you would be like, fucking, hey guys, we've already done it. Show me where I can, tell me who you want me to pull off these jobs to put on these other jobs. But me and Booby, just even raise up your guy. Booby and I have already recognized who's better at this. We won't include this guy because he comes in half the days, so we don't count on him. So he's just, now we do have him parts. Show him all the things they just asked you to do and say, I don't know where you want us to go. I think this is a bigger problem. I think this is the other shift's problem. And then both of them look at you. Why are you throwing us under the bus? It's like, I'm sick and tired of my guys getting fucking thrown under the bus. I'm sorry to throw you under the bus. I don't know where to go. And then, so that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's somebody asking you to make that comment. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice by not saying it like that. And so that's all. That's where I think you need to do that more. Like I said, especially your entertaining things. What's wrong with that? Like, Marcel's not going to get any better if you coddle him.
Yeah.
And if he wants to do fucking his supervisor's reports where Booby would not do, and just like all you can do is say, you're an idiot. Why are you doing that? You're getting taken advantage of, and then walk away. And then just like, well, that's probably why you can't concentrate on fucking putting anybody on USBs. You can get as mean.
Yeah.
You can get as mean girl as you want.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
But you're not. That's what I'm saying. So there is an in between.
Yeah.
There is an accountability. And that's why I'm saying I don't have any of these insular, like, my issues are my own mental fucking things I can think of or whatever. I don't have to talk to anybody about this. I need a good relationship with Johnny and Tariq because they know how to build these things. So if I need a question asked, you know what I mean? Like, they can answer it. And that's one of the reasons why I keep Tariq close and I get these racist fucking texts from him, all these things and all that, because I don't want to just fucking turn him off. I want to have a working relationship with him.
Yeah.
So in the same thing with an
get
office
that.
or another thing, you need to have a working relationship with them. And part of that isn't definitely not being walked over, and part of that is showing receipts. And then like, how do they
God.
know if you don't tell them?
Oh no.
And like I said, I'm saying it like this because I'm not going to be happy the day you entertain another thought, like another place. Like it's going to be that less enjoyable for me. Like it's not the end of the world. It's not I don't expect us to work together for the rest of my working life type of thing or whatever.
Why not, Jay?
Because you have a 7-year itch.
Yeah.
You don't, you know what I mean? Like you don't live, I don't know. You're the one who would change it, not me.
Yeah.
I'm never like there's no reason for me to leave this place other than not physically being able to do the job anymore. And I don't know when that, like I'm not looking forward to that happening at all. Like I'm just gonna go until the wheels fall out. Like I said, like I found more reason to enjoy the place. Like I find more reasons to be like with this whole snow day thing. It's like fuck. I do feel a little guilty that I did not do my part in the cog, but I can brush it off. I don't like just like snow in my car. Like I don't have to live in that because it's over at that point.
Yeah.
Right? Like whatever. Like then I just go back to work and work on my little corner. You are trying to keep the whole world going. Like I even said to you, you got in trouble for something that happened on a Friday.
Yeah, I don't work
That
Fridays.
you don't work Fridays.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was so incensed
I know,
that
you
you
were
let
mad.
that happen. Like I don't even know how to put this. I'm not throwing it back at you.
No, I
but
remember you were pretty mad about it.
I was mad at them doing it to you. I was mad. I don't know what I was more mad at. You letting it happen. I think probably that. Because not knowing the whole story or knowing how to navigate that office politics, because that's basically what you're doing with all your bullshit.
Yeah.
And so I have zero idea how to navigate that stuff. But knowing the truth, I was just like, and people, please fucking write in. What should you do if you don't work on fucking Friday? They have an overtime that so other people come in. So like Brian has nothing to do with this, and he gets written up for what happened on because I don't even know how to fucking explain it to people.
Yeah.
But you got written up for something that was done when you weren't there, and I'm like, so you should get paid for every email that gets sent to you on a Friday.
I should.
Or any entertaining, like if you're on call, then you get paid.
Yeah.
I would be very interested in happen if you just cut off all communication.
I should tell. Honestly, I have been doing way less email communication when I'm off now.
Thank
Ever
God.
since that day, I've been doing way less I've left so many questions that I could answer unanswered just because now.
Yes, and so you probably aren't. I can see the confliction of you're not being your best person at that time.
Yeah.
But like that's just them pushing you till you have to push back.
Yeah.
Right? Like is that a form of throwing them under the bus by not answering them?
Yep. Too
Yeah,
bad.
but but like so you can handle like I'm
That
proud
I
of
can
you for
handle.
handling that part.
That I can deal with.
I get it. So maybe we're
Because
in
I
baby
did
steps.
I did state it that things are going to be different now.
Yeah,
I
and
told them. I
that's
said,
their fault.
Yeah.
They ruined that.
Yeah,
Then so
that's it.
that's the consequence of that. So however the clunkiness of whatever happens like on a Friday overtime now, or it's just their problem.
Yeah.
Like, and that's good. Like you would have helped that more. So that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know where the buck stops on that. Like that was like crazy. So other than driving yourself crazy, I'm proud of you for doing something like that. I can tell you have to have a bit of restraint from that. The more you do it, the easier it'll come. And even more, and this not happening. I'm being future fucking tripping here. I don't think you should leave this place at all. Like whatever frustrations are these, they are the definition of growing pains.
I agree. I don't really necessarily want to leave and stuff.
I know that.
But the problem with me is that I've always had these things. Like you said, the 7-year itch has always been there. I never return to a job once I'm gone. So if I was laid off or I quit, I've never returned, and I probably never will. And once I've decided to go, there's nothing you can do to retain me. There's
I get that.
absolutely nothing you can do. If I go in there and tell them that I'm quitting, they could offer me everything that I want. A, I would have already had a job by then, for sure. B, I'm already fed up with the place. So it's more than what are they going to do? Offer me money? That's not.
Yeah.
I handle my money fairly well enough that there's nothing they're going to offer me that's going to make me want to stay.
Yeah.
So if they get me, and I always say to myself, because it's happened before, especially at the last place I was at when I came to here, they tried to retain me. They said, "Is there anything?" I said, "No, there's nothing you can do, nothing at all." And then they're just like, "Okay, fine, whatever." So I've always said, like, if you get me to that point, then I know there's no point in me being here.
I recognize that in you, and I've heard you say something like that before. I think that is a personality trait of you. I do think that you will put up with so much silently.
Yes,
and
exactly.
like I do think you vocalize yourself in a way, but you will. Even then, try to some of the circumstances we just talked about, you will just like take it silently until you just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And like you just don't trust them to believe whatever they're going to offer you. You just like reading that frustration or whatever. But what I would say to you at a certain point, and you're a young guy, like this might be as bad advice as the guy telling you to leave the airport.
My knees don't tell me I'm a young guy, Jay.
Are we still on? We have this situation where I don't think you're ever going, and I think this is not as true as I want it to be, and I don't know how selfish this is of me wanting to keep working with you for as long as I want to. I don't know if you're going to find a place that you're going to have the ability to affect change as much as you eventually will here. Not
agree.
recognizing what change you've already done. Like there would be no night shift that works the way you do now. Like we've talked about this a bunch of times. Like you recognize that now.
Yeah.
You're living in the frustration that they don't recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's easy to say like you guys don't remember like we've talked about before like Mandy doing this.
Yeah.
And how fucking there was no accountability compared to what is now. And now you can turn it around and go there's more accountability here than the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to say it because it's throwing people under the bus. But uprooting yourself and taking away all this goodwill that you have with the owner of the place. Like I said, he doesn't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
He looks at your Monday motivation. He looks at your different, he looks at you as a young whippersnapper, like a difference maker. Like right now, you might not be able to unseat like a boss is ahead of you or whatever like that, because that's their position or whatever, right? And you're never going to get to explain yourself to him like that, but I don't think you need to. I think eventually, I think you've affected a whole bunch of change to right now, and now you're at a plateau where your ability to affect change is kind of minimized.
Yep.
It's not as recognizable.
For sure.
And you got these roadblocks, but that doesn't stop, like, that shouldn't stop you from recognizing, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work that way. I don't think you're going to affect change all the way up, you know what I mean? Like, 100% every day. And I think might be a time where you got to bide your time a little bit. And like I said, again, bad advice because you could probably do this a lot of other places, but this place is only going to grow.
100%.
Right? Even with the fucking tariffs, all this shit, whatever it's going to change. Like, however it's going to, it's a growing company that needs to have young people, like better, like different ways of thinking and doing things. And so your ability to affect that change will come all of a sudden, I think. Just like it kind of came all of a sudden, you got the shift and it grew however it did. And you just, I think that's how progression works for people like you that climb that ladder.
Yep.
I do think you wouldn't want to cut off all the progress you've made.
For sure. But my thing is that I hear how these guys talk about people outside of the room. Like when they talk about Chris, or they talk about like Sam, or they talk about, like the guys that have reputations.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that doesn't happen to me because of the situation that I'm in. That because we're more unseen, and you don't. I know you say that I've affected change, and I can't see that, to be honest. I don't really see that. I'm always trying to go, like, I'm always chasing stuff. I'm always chasing something. Whether I'm freaking trying to buy a new phone, like, I'm always trying to chase something.
Okay.
So I don't really see it. But I also don't see that they talk about me outside the room the same way. And I don't even want praise. Like, I'm not even the person that wants praise or anything. I just want to be recognized for whatever I've done. So it's like, I don't want to be written up for doing something that I've already been doing for 2 years, and just because everybody else got written up for it, I have to be lumped into it. Like I want to be recognized that there's no, why would we do this? Like, but that's not happening. None of that is happening to me. Like you said, like I said, they were, oh yeah, we need you. You can do this to do this with your team to make sure the hours go under. I've already been doing that, but that none of that's recognized. So it's just being more apparent to me that whatever I do isn't recognized.
I can't imagine how frustrating. Like I said, this is just advice I can tell that would be very hard to take at the same time. This is where the receipts come in and the fucking under the bus. Like, how great was it to show fucking that guy pictures of a clean floor where he told you it wasn't clean?
Yeah.
So now you have to, whatever it is, go and like either on your own or with him. And I wouldn't be able to do this. I would fucking like grab my ball and go home. I would be like, this is what we're doing with this job and these hours and these guys. Please show me what I can do different.
Yeah, but who wants to live in that world constantly?
The people that want to be managers.
Well, then,
Like, I don't know how that would be different at another place.
I don't know either. But
Like, the only thing to
maybe
do.
I have to find out.
Yes, I get that. But then this is where I'm saying, as an outsider in your thought process and what's going on, is I recognize that you are looking forward and what's next and can kind of do that. And it's not great to live in the past, but by not recognizing any accomplishment, like Tariq was the one that forced you to take a picture of a clean floor.
Yeah.
Right? And you recognize, like, it sucks doing that, but you did it.
Yeah.
And you don't mind throwing him under the bus because he's asking for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they're asking for it again in an hours and what am I doing for you, like, lately. It'd be great if they just took you for your word or recognized it personally, but your boss doesn't do that. Like, because of the ineptitude or the buck passing that goes on, the buck has been passed to you, so now you just have to show that receipt. And then you should just end it there. If the consequence of being that receipt showing is somebody throwing under the bus, it was from the person making you show that receipt. And if you look at it, go, well, if I just stick up, like I said, that's why your shift works so well, because you will stick up for them. You will show them what they're doing for them, and they will say things like, I can't not, if you leave, I'm leaving. Because they don't trust anybody. Mm-hmm. Your guys you are letting them down by not standing up for them. Mm-hmm. You're letting them look like they're not doing a good enough job. At the same time, you're taking it as, I'm not doing a good enough job. And then you think, my God, I got the best guys on it. So at the same time, you recognize it in that thought, I think. It's like, well, if you're saying they're not doing a good enough job, and that means I'm not doing a good enough job. Mm-hmm. You take everybody else out of it. You think they're doing a good enough job. And they trust you. You know what I mean? Like, at that moment, they're trusting you to say, stand up for them. If they came to them and said, hey, how come you guys are like so shitty at this? And just go, well, Brian told me I'm doing good. Mm-hmm. Like, that's, then you say, Brian, do you like not think that? And then you would say, no, I do think that. Well, why are they saying that? Because they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
End of conversation.
Yeah.
And they say, well, what do you want me to do? I can't do anything about it. Like, it's like complaining about the president or the premier. It's like, good, like, oh, I tried, I voted. Like, I said some things on Twitter, like, I tried. So it's way more frustrating. Mm-hmm. With this here, show me the receipts, get guys doing it. If you would be more, it'd be more frustrating if it was just like, fuck, what do I got to do to make this look good? Other than just like showing them the hours.
Yeah.
And like, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's like, it's on you. It's like, well, you guys want a receipt, so it's here. You had it the whole time, right? Like, I don't know please tell me what I'm missing. I'm not putting it all on them, but let's just take my little corner of the world here and say, what else could I do? And now you're sticking up for those guys who are doing the job for you. You don't care if they talk on their phone a little bit or take 5 more minutes off because you know they're going to get the job done. Mm-hmm. When you come in the morning and they say what they're going to say, when you said how they talk about Chris and Sam, did you mean that they talk negatively or positively about them?
Positively.
So if they talk positively about those guys, what makes you think they don't see the same for you? Because of what other people say?
Because
when Nate comes in and complains about the day shift on the paint area, because it's got nothing to do with you. Yeah. That's Chris doing Chris, and we like Chris, and you recognize the greatness of Chris or whatever it is, but Nate sees half of it.
Yeah.
Right? And you're just like, oh, well, Nate, like, you don't make Nate listen to you. Mm-hmm. You're just like, he's got his reasons, and I'm sure there's a lot of truth in it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know the whole story. Right?
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
And he doesn't get it. So that's a Nate problem. Just like everything else, like, but that stops there. When it's a Ryan problem, you think, oh, how can I fix that? And this bus door underneath and the receipts, it's all mixed in. Like you're being asked to. Like, again, I can say it when you come to me. It's just like, oh, man, how much does it suck that it looks like Johnny's so much better at this than me? And you're just like, nobody cares. Like, that's like, yeah, they might even say it, but that's not the be all and end. Like, it's not, they know there's two different people.
Yeah.
They don't like look at it like that at all, Jay. The human in me looks and says, like, yeah, but I see it. And you know what? Like, it's like, I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but having him build that, I work a little faster than it would have been if there was nobody building it. And so that's like, it is what it is. I can't stop that. All I can do is just do me. And so you can see this. It's like there's no benefit in you comparing yourself to Johnny. Are you just doing are you giving them what you promised them other than phoning in for a snow? Like you don't do that on the regular.
Yeah.
Right? Like that was a legitimate excuse. Even though I'm at home having a fucking cranberry margarita going, boy, a better employee might have come in.
I was gonna ask if you had a margarita.
Of course I had a margarita. What are you, fucking crazy? I was so lucky. So the Wednesday, I was having a tough little time at work or whatever, right? This is, again, my beautiful Valentine at home. She came home from like work on the Wednesday, I guess. No, Tuesday. So this is Tuesday. She gave me an out on Tuesday even. She goes,
nice.
You know what? It sounded like you were having a real bad day. And I was out. I drink a whole jug of fucking cranberry juice now on the weekend. And she's like, I got some more cranberry juice just in case you needed a little pick-me-up. And I'm trying to be really good. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? And then so I was just like, it's good to know I had it. And I had to shovel. She's like, and so I just didn't have it. But then you make it all the way come Thursday, I didn't have to leave the house because I had a cranberry, like I had the cranberry juice there. So I didn't, what was I going to say? So yeah, so I'm at home on Thursday thinking it's a snow day, undeserved. I'm actually starting to think that on my Fridays now.
Really?
Like I don't, part of me is just like, this is like, because I could use the money and how much money am I leaving on the table and how great would it be if I like came in? The problem was, in my mind, I'm going to raise, like, by just leaving it as it is, I get to just keep it as it is. If I start showing up on Fridays and then they see a positivity in the numbers, they'll be like, oh my God, we need this guy to come in on Fridays again. And so I just don't want to open that door anymore, right? Like I'll deal with that whenever that comes. But part of me is just like, fuck, like, I didn't think I was going to get away with this for as long as I have. And I'm just like, part of me, again, very minimal, like feels a little guilty of it. Like I get over it really fast. Like it's not a prevailing thought.
Yeah.
It doesn't last the whole time. But when I'm sitting there having a margarita Thursday, seeing the half-done side pack, seeing Johnny's all the way up, they're going, fuck, man. It's the optics of it, like however it is, I don't like it.
Yeah, I can see why.
But you could look at me and go, don't live in those optics.
Yeah, I can see why you would feel in a certain way, but like it's, yeah.
So this is where I'm saying for you, with the people dealing part, it's way, way harder. Like I only know like Tam. Like I don't know anybody that works in an office, right? Like has to deal with these like office related work problems. And so, but Tammy deals with a very small clinic, and she's the manager of it. And so, a lot of times, responsibility is put on her, and she'll have to do something. And then so comes Thursday, she's like, "Oh my God, I have to come in. Like this is going on." And then she's like, "Oh man, I hate putting it all on you guys." So no, it was not a big deal. We are going to make fun of you for not making it in the snow with your Jeep, but you even if you think you let us down here, that's a you problem.
Yep.
We recognize the circumstance.
Yep.
What if you drove and got into an accident, couldn't make it to work? Life goes on. This is where you see life. It's never as do or die as you want it to be.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you go and you leave and you join another whatever it is. I don't know what you do. And just be like, you're going to be starting from the bottom again. They're going to have to take 2 years to get over your bullshit to find out you're a good guy. And, whatever it is. And then you're going to get your influence going. Like your influence, you really don't recognize it. Like I said, like your boss is putting it on a you, Ali, and Varcel fucking problem, and now you're trying to deal with that as best you can. And then the one person who's got all this power with the CW comes to the CWB. You end up having to take a fucking shit. That's not your fault. Is that throwing him under the bus? He made you say that he hasn't given you the email stuff. Ultimately, it comes to a point where he has to get forced to come to the meeting. Like finally, you do that. Like you make it come in. Now finally, shit can maybe get done. That's not a you problem. And so then you have everybody in there, and then the CWB all of a sudden magically gets solved, because you had to show the receipts, / throw it to somebody on the bus.
Yeah.
So now you're getting more fucking production problems or do whatever. Just like, you know what, guys? Let's just talk about how nobody's caught on fire or nobody's drunk at work anymore for a little bit. Okay, that's good. Now here's what we've done to make this things right. Please tell me how to do it different. You want this guy off that job? You tell me you want it. So daily, should we change this? And then even if the problem is they say, okay, that looks good, without saying, holy shit, Brian, you've been doing this for the last month and a half or 2 months or you're longer. But then you just like, I guess I'm not getting that. You're never going to get that. And that's not for you. Yeah. That's for me to tell you if you're lucky enough. That's for your guys to tell you if you're doing a good enough job on that. And I think you would, at this point in your life, I think you're going to throw away too much that you've built up to start over again. Like you are young enough and you could do it. And I regret saying it in a way that I think you'll make anything work. And it.
Oh, I'm out of here. Thanks, Jay.
Because but you will make it work. But I don't think that means that you couldn't make it work here. Okay. And I do think your time will come here. Like, I do think, like, just imagine, like, a guy like Sean, again, got his problems or whatever, but he was on a track to be, like, the next Ali and do all that, but was, like, stagnant for ages until he got a different position, until he's doing, you know what I mean? Like, something else opened up for him. And now he's probably you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is for him there. And that's something that he didn't even know was available to him when he was dealing with some of the things that you're dealing with now. And, like... Yeah, like the ultimate, not that he's making decisions, but the owner loves a person like you, like a young person with ideas and thoughts. Like you've made your bed with him with that Monday motivation stuff. Like nobody does that shit, and that was you all alone. And like that's what he thinks of you, and what he does. Like you are part of this problem, or you're part of the solution, not the problem. And whoever makes you deal with that. So I don't want you to throw all the baby out with that bathwater. Yeah. And just like you say to me in the smaller restaurant, you should say it too.
Yeah, so, you're right.
That's what I was thinking on my snow day. Man, we're going to make ourselves have a hard out. I don't know. Again, I made you talk about work-related stuff that you probably didn't want to. But
it is called work-related.
This is a little weird to get into. I have different things to politics, but tied into work stuff with the tariffs and shit going on or whatever, and not hoping, just most hoping that it's not as bad as it could be or whatever. But I've worked in steel and aluminum my whole life. Right, and I do that. It's just like, and I know now with these tariffs, it's like steel and aluminum are like it's like oil and shit. Like it's part of these major world trade things, right? Like steel and aluminum for some reason, but we never use Canadian or U.S. steel or aluminum. Like when I see our steel come in, it's like from fucking Malaysia and shit.
Yeah,
I don't even like understand if we don't use Canadian steel. Like how is why? I just don't know how our steel and aluminum is that important as a world, like in a economic sense, if we don't even use it. Like, I don't know how much like steel and aluminum we sell.
A lot.
As Canadians.
Yeah.
Then why don't we buy it?
It doesn't make any sense.
Like, I'm confused.
We don't even buy our own oil, so.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why Malaysia, like, at one point it annoyed me.
Malaysia's a lot cheaper.
So is that basically, so we undermine ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so then it's really, this is exposing a bigger problem than just a Trump tariff problem.
Yeah.
If, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm just, it makes me more confused that, how can it be that important if we don't even get a break on our own steel and aluminum as a Canadian company?
Yeah, because it's just way too expensive. Because I watched this video how it was about the Chinese steel market and how their steel in aluminum is just so much cheaper that they just flood the market with it, and it brings all the other competitors' prices down, like just in general. But the only reason that works is because their labor laws are way different from our labor laws. So to buy Canadian steel or American steel and aluminum is just way more expensive because we actually have rights. You know what I mean? We actually have benefits. We actually have to get paid a certain amount. So it's just cheaper to buy it from them and import it than it is to buy it down the street.
So isn't that a fake premise? Like, isn't that a bubble of some sort? Like,
yes,
isn't that just basically existing off of the exploitation of certain situations?
Business capitalism is all about exploitation.
So it's always been like that. Like, I don't want to overuse the word slavery or like making like free labor, but basically isn't that like, so we're saying that we couldn't exist if we didn't have slave labor building aluminum in different countries.
We absolutely could exist, but
That's why-
a Wilcox truck that costs 50,000 will end up costing 80.
So, but it's all it's all inflated numbers. Like you know what I mean? Like, I understand what you're saying as a concept, like they flooding the market and it is what it is. And like, because of these labor
They're
laws.
the number one supplier of steel and aluminum in the world, China.
Yes, they made themselves that. I was watching this fucking show. It was all about this mysterious islands. And in World War II, Europe was like Newfoundland had it probably still does, like huge iron ore deposits. And the Germans were fucking sinking boats that were coming from Newfoundland that were going to Europe because they're full of iron ore. They didn't want the Allied forces to like have steel making capabilities.
Yep.
And the reason why it stopped was foreign competitors like China making their steel cheaper. That's insane to me. Like I'm really not trying to use it as but it's like Foxconn building phones for fucking $5 an hour or 5 cents an hour or whatever it is. Like, we have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Like, we recycle, we try to do our best thing. We have a living wage and do all that, but it's a false premise because we can't even buy our own steel we make.
Yeah.
Like, who do we expect? So all this shit just exposes the fragile nature of an economy.
Well, that's what happens, especially when your economy is more dependent than it is independent, right? Like
So
ours.
when I think it was on the show, you were talking about how you like watching Dubai build itself up using their like not
Yep.
like
they don't need anybody.
like building their oil up, and I agreed with that. Like, that made so much sense to me. I don't know how like that works, like, because I've only been watching people like in a world trade, like needing trade partners. Like, I don't know that's why when I look at the American, like, the MAGA fucking process going on now, it's just like, they might be able to make it work insular. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they need us to build their trucks. I don't understand how it all works other than when you do need a partner. And then if they're not there to fucking be there for you.
Yep.
I don't know how, but I don't know if that's just like how we just think things should work because we do that on a personal nature. We are friends with our neighbors. We rely on people. You know what I mean? Like so much. But like having it work as a country, like I don't know. I other than just like having a universal basic income type of economy, like I don't know how all of a sudden that we just make Canadian steel cheaper for Canadians. Like, I'm not everything I say is ignorant to this, but I'm understanding that like a place like Venezuela, who has like more oil than we do, like gas for citizens of Venezuela is like $1 a gallon or something, or like super cheap. Like, they are just their own supplier of oil.
Yep.
But we, like you said, we're not like that. We've always just like buy our own oil back, and we have these relationships to make each other work. And like, it's a catastrophe waiting to happen. It's just cut it all off right away. Like, I don't know what Growing Pains Dubai went to. You know what I mean? Like, to turn it into that.
Well, their whole Growing Pains was all before, right? And then because getting to that point, who really cared about Dubai? Nobody. But when they got to that point, the Growing Pains were all over.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
yeah, I don't know why
And
we couldn't do that.
Because we're handicapped at this point. We're kneecapped. There's nothing we can do in the short term that would change any of that. If everything goes to plan how Trump is threatening it to go, we will be the 51st state. We're screwed.
No, I don't know how we would just not reverse like change things. Like, I just don't know how we would not become self-reliant in a
Easy. They have no way to ship for oil, for example. You can't ship oil from west to east and vice versa. There's no pipeline. There's nothing.
But Dubai must have had to build a pipeline.
They must have, but they were in their own city. They weren't just all exporting everything, right? And we don't have refineries to do our own thing, which is also insane. So we've just been kneecapped by our government for years. Instead of having a contingencies or having backups just in case we're not friends with we get in a fight with our brother, there was no backup at all. So yeah. We were looking at maps a couple of weeks ago at work. We were looking at maps of the pipelines, and they just all go to the States.
Yeah, because it was a mutual beneficiary like arrangement for that.
But we have highways that go to the States, but we're not going to make a highway that goes east to west. Like, you should at least have something there. You should at
Yes.
least be able to stand on your own 2 feet if something happens. The fact that that was never a thought process is insane to me.
But this is where I think they're going back on their word.
For sure they
Like
are.
you're right. Like okay, so you're in your
Will you
argument.
just
You're
trust
saying
everybody in politics? Are we serious?
yeah, but you have to eventually. You. It seems stupid to say it now because it's not happening right now. But it's just like yeah, that's how it kind of works. That's why you have allies. That's the whole point of it. Like you don't. This is where the frustration. You don't do that to your supposed friends in a negotiation tactic.
Yeah.
Like that you're getting kneecapped because we were put into that position. Like it's easy to say we got anywhere to go to oil. It'd be like whatever. It'd be like fucking making somebody's lunch at work every day and say, no, I got you. Just give me your money, give you your lunch. And say, you know what, I stopped. So well fuck, I haven't bought groceries this week. Ah, that's your problem. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I thought we had an agreement. It was like, yeah, you shouldn't have trusted me. And so then you're the fucking asshole for breaking that trust.
Absolutely.
And you're right, like it seems stupid now, but we're all agreeing that it's just a fucking facade anyway. Like we're buying we're making steel and buying it from fucking Malaysia. Like that just didn't happen yesterday.
Yeah.
Like it's not whatever the agreement was for that. Whatever our world responsibility, it's easy for you to look at it now and say we just shouldn't take that on. But people love us, like you know what I mean, like because we do want to help in a world situation.
For
we do
sure.
have and one end we have an abundance of things here. We just don't know what to do with it.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
There's no problem with us helping people and working in collaboration. But the fact that there is absolutely nothing behind that, there's nothing, like you don't have a backup plan or anything at all, completely. Like it was just not thought of to build. If you want to build a pipeline from east to west, it's going to take you 5 years. So that's your plan? Oh, if we don't get along, we have 5 years to build a thing. No, that's not a friggin' plan.
My problem with that is though the things being both intertwined in the same place. It's just like it's the same companies working in both countries. It's the one oil company
For
that
sure.
owns both, that has their relationships in both countries.
For sure, but all the plans for the original pipelines were owned by the government, so that defeats that. The fact that they nixed their own plan to build their own thing with their own money, not even dependent on oil
Yeah,
companies, it just baffles me that I've lived in this world for 10 like the adult world for 10, 15 years and none of this has ever dawned on me before.
I get it because that's okay. This is where then you could be a type of person where somebody's concentrating on the environment too much.
Yes, yeah.
No.
sure.
I said
For
it's so
sure.
easy to see, and I get that.
Yeah.
But we also, a lot of people don't want to live in a world where nobody's thinking of the environment.
Yeah.
Right? Like I live in a place that likes to fucking destruct the environment. Like
Yeah.
I try to recognize my blind spot in protecting the environment in a type of way. I hate that it dictates everything that like kind of makes a decision. And yes, maybe we're in a spot where, okay, you know what? Are we just destroying an environment for the sake of destroying an environment? That's why I bring up traditional lands. It's easy to mock. We can't have this hockey game without recognizing the Mississaugas of the Credit Rally or all this fucking stuff. It's like, I'm not allowed to say, that point of view is not looked at favorably anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like we should recognize, you know what I mean? Like some of that. But also it's so frustrating. Like, are we going to shoot ourselves in the foot by like I said, like we do need to trample on some native rights to maybe make this pipeline. And
Okay.
they're not my native rights to trample. So it's easy. I find it irresponsible to just, or I find a sliver of irresponsibility to just say, fuck those people, fuck it. It's more of a security nature to do that.
Yeah.
And at the time, the relationship looked good enough. Like, are we just going to destroy the environment just for the sake of it?
Yes.
Yes. Now it looks like we're idiots for not doing it.
If I would have heard this 10 years ago, I still would have said yes.
Yes, I agree because you're a young, and you're entitled to your point of view no matter who you are. You were just more of an industrial capitalist fucking thought at that point. It's just like, let's do it. And I recognize that too. I'm just trying to hear the other side of that argument and say, why not? I wouldn't have let that stop me. I would have been the same way, just like whatever. But then you get to a point, it might be apples and oranges. And then you get to a point, it's like, oh, is your next thing going to say, let's just take over Gaza because we have the ability to do that? Like you recognize. I'm guessing you recognize both sides of that story.
For sure. And I
It sounds to me like that.
There is a limit of where you go, to how far you go when it comes to certain things. But I still do believe that when you're a government and you're supposed to take care of the people,
You're right.
and you have no contingency for taking care of the people,
Yeah.
and everything that we do depends on our big brother over there is ridiculous. They say tariffs, our dollar crashes. Like it's just it's just crazy.
I agree
And
with you.
Now
Sorry.
we have Trudeau running all over the European Union trying to make deals. Like what? Like what are we doing? What are we doing? You're scrambling.
So I look at it differently. I don't think the consequences are as grave as they could be. I don't think anything ever gets as bad as it could be.
For sure, but I don't want my lifetime to be living in the build up for everybody else. I want to live in the glory days. I don't want to live in the building days. Fuck that.
I don't.
I
Okay,
already
so this is
lived
where I'm
through
saying
dial-up
to
internet.
fucking people grabbing diesel in fucking Nairobi, we are in the glory days. There are
Yes.
other people in the world that are fucking living
For
in an
sure.
Armageddon, and we can make this as bad as it possibly be.
Absolutely.
I also look at it like, yes, we were depending on our big brother there for a while doing that, but why not look at it like a fucking free agent? Like, it's just like, yeah, we have so much potential. Like,
We
you know
do.
what? We should have built a pipeline 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now we have no choice.
And I'll be grateful for my kids to reap the benefit, but I want to reap the benefit because I'm busting my ass right now.
Yeah, but everything is for the future generations. It's like
Yeah.
making ourselves better. You're regretting 10 years ago decisions for what it might be like here now.
Not even decisions. It's oversights and incompetence.
Yes, I agree. The red tape of government is fucking insane.
Yes.
Like this is where it's saying, like when we talked about Musk and the fucking Department of Defense, it's like my frustration is now it's your guy. You think it's all good, and when it's the other person, you want to fucking burn it down. You're
Yeah.
both the fucking same.
Absolutely.
And then the hero worshiping of it all.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know who's going to lose out on whatever decisions are going on there. Like I'm not a welfare state type of person.
Yeah.
But I also recognize what departments are going to get thrown out with the wash because of all that corruption. I love it when they call out how is Mitch McConnell worth $93 million on a
Yeah.
$200,000 salary.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be said.
100%.
And I get it. And so I don't understand the mechanisms to put that on there. And yeah, they need to be changed or whatever. But in this is why we keep bringing up the European Union or whatever. Just like fucking you're not the only game in town anymore.
For sure.
And other than military might and all these other things, like we already joke about, your fucking F-18s are going to get demolished by 10,000 drones.
Yeah.
I don't know how anything works anymore. And so I agree with you. I think that this is an opportunity to be that free agent where it's just like what should I do as a fucking nation? Instead of just retreating inside and say we can do this ourselves. Say no, who else should be my new trading partners? I don't want to be I think we should be more self-sufficient
Yeah.
and be a better partner for either America again. Like I said, maybe they're just a kick in the ass to make us better again or whatever, but you want to just sever our 50 or 100-year fucking relationship and then that's on you. That's not. We weren't doing that.
But we're the ones who are going to reap the problems about it.
No.
We're the ones who are gonna struggle for the next decade or so because,
It was lack of foresight.
yeah, like that is literally your job.
I get it. The government's
Foresight
let you
is-
down the whole fucking time.
They do, but like this, I don't know. I just can't understand it.
I
can't
get it.
I'm looking at every week the next week. I have a backup plan for next week if something goes wrong. Already at work, in my home, everywhere. How do you guys not think about over 10, 15, 20 years?
It's the problems with politicians. They're looking to get reelected. Like
And
it's
corruption.
one of the major
Yeah.
fucking problems
Yeah.
of fucking politics.
Dictatorship. Let's switch it back up. Bring in Putin.
Until you don't get the one you want.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
Like it's not the same, Brian. Like it's
I
not.
know.
It's not. It's not as easy as that. Like I
sure.
don't want to throw out all the things that we just like still have.
we have great things.
And you're right. I think it's more of a kick in the ass to realize, like, oh, maybe we were relying on that too much.
Well, you know what is more frustrating is that, like, when back to the pipelines, for example, I do remember in the previous government when they were nixing the pipelines and stuff. I remember that. And I
do.
remember thinking, why would you not do these pipelines? Like, I just don't
I agree.
understand that.
I 100%
Then it was
agree.
all the environmental stuff.
I
It was
remember.
it was something to do with, was it Obama at the time? Obama at the time and whatnot, and all these kind of things. And I'm just thinking, like, you need their permission. And this is when the Canadian government owned it, right? This is right before they sold it. You need their permission to build something on your own land with your own money. Like, how does this make any all in the interest of politics?
Yeah. That's how neighbors work.
So these plans were already there. They
Yeah.
were already they've even started.
Yeah, but then the same problem comes in when a new regime comes in and just nixes every fucking decision that was made beforehand.
Billions of dollars then?
I guess. Like I don't like I said.
My mind is
You're right, but that's
don't know.
that's the lack of foresight in any situation. Like I said, like I don't get people that concentrate on the environmental part for it so much. Like I realize, like I said, like let's just fucking do it. But there's the people that live in our area that are opposed to fucking mines or the CN thing coming.
Yeah.
You and I don't get it.
No,
but
they're
like
ridiculous.
you have to recognize that somebody for some reason doesn't agree with it.
For sure. But we're in freaking Canada. It's not like we're overdeveloped in this country.
I agree. That's why we have a fucking committee and like they're overused and they're fucking misused, but they can't just be abandoned. You can't just have a fucking dictator saying, you know what, I'm sick of this. Like I was fucking
We
voted
need
90%.
Doge. That's
Yeah, but then you're just relying on the fucking the sign of the times.
okay. Here's
So how would you feel now? I guess it goes to the person that's in the right spot, but then Tesla gets fucking $400 million contract to fucking supply the whole fucking fleet of fucking Teslas now.
okay.
Yeah, because it's going to go to somebody else.
Yeah.
But you don't think like you know what I mean? Like it's not kind of gross now that it goes to that one person?
I mean, it is, but at least they're future thinking, they're forward thinking, they're going towards what's next. They're not going toward. It's not like It's not like Tesla's a horse company.
I hear you.
It's a future
Yeah.
future company, and in my opinion, that's what we need to constantly be doing.
So people who had GM stock, just tough luck.
No,
you know what I mean? Like
people
if you
had
actually had the
GM
Tesla stock, then you just right place, right time, or was it because you were going to fucking put shit in their friends' back pockets?
People who have GM stock will have a stable stock. You're not going to be taking any
No,
gambles.
we're taking advantage of the
nothing.
situation now.
For sure, you'll have a stable stock. You may go up 3, 4, 5% every year. Great, you're happy with that. But there's other stocks, and you want to take more risk and go about the future. You can go with Tesla. You can go with 10% interest and whatnot. Like you just have the option of that. GM's not going to go anywhere. None of these companies are going to go anywhere in the near future.
I agree, but this is how certain companies get benefits or certain relationships because of politic reasons.
For sure.
They get, you know what I mean, like more of an advantage than another company's going to get just because of that. Like I said, like it was going to go to somebody else. Like I said, like I see Musk now as just whoever this George Soros is that they've complained about for the last fucking 8 years.
Yeah.
And I can't unsee it anymore.
Yeah, I know.
really can't unsee it.
I know.
And I like most of the things the guy does. But it's just like, wow, like you talk about who's making the decisions and fucking, or for whatever reasons. And it's fine.
But maybe you need that for the benefit of the future. Maybe
That's
you need
fine.
a
I'm
guy
living to
who's
live with that.
trying to go to Mars and who's bringing internet to the entire world and who's bringing electric cars instead of gasoline cars. The reliance on gasoline, or I would say oil, but that's never going to go away. But on gasoline specifically, like maybe you need those people to do these certain shady deals.
I agree. I'm also my frustration is in the hypocrisy of these are the same people that think Bill Gates is trying to control the world with fucking mind viruses.
Yeah.
It's the same guy doing different. You know what I mean? It's apples compared to apples to me.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's just like it's who's on your team, and Bill Gates is a world dominating fucking mind controlling trying to fuck over Africa fucking, you know what I mean? Like nothing he does is for the right reasons unless you're a fan of Bill Gates. Like why does he get thrown by that side, he gets thrown under for the bus for the same well, no, this guy's whatever. You know what I mean? He's a captain of industry. Who else are we gonna lean on with other smart business people? But if you're not on that side, you just look at him like a evil world takeover. And now I see that as like you can't call them that. You can't have no working relationship with the other side and expect me to listen to you fucking fully.
Yeah.
This is where I need a partnership. These are people that get divorced 3 years into fucking marriages. These are people that have no idea how to fucking work with other people, and I just don't think it works that way. I'm going to change a little bit because we got a little bit harder.
yeah,
We're going to go.
yeah.
Are you caught up on Beast Games? It's going to seem a little
No, I'm
weird
not,
for
I'm
now.
not.
So it's close to the end. I'm missing one episode or whatever. So I don't know how many people are left at your.
I don't think I've watched it since we last talked about it.
So without trying to have a spoiler alert, the lower it gets, like at the beginning, you can't understand, and I still don't, why they wouldn't take money in their situations where they could. Like you're not going to win the big prize. You should get what you can while you can get it, right? But the further the game goes along, the people that aren't willing, like the selfish people, get exposed.
Really?
And personally, even though they. In our mind, they probably made the right decision at the time, or we don't see a fault in what they're doing or whatever. In that game, when you're just like, you're in that community, you're easily outed as a not working with everybody type of person. It seems so kumbaya, and you look at, it's like the strongest aren't going to be the ones that are there. Like, you know what I mean? Like the people that we inherently might like look to want to cheer for would be like, what the fuck is this like blue-haired chick being here, or what is this like these coddled people maybe going on? But what they all kind of have in common is wanting to work with people, not like the people that with all those fucking 1,000 people. By the time it gets dwindled to fucking 6, those 6 people are the cuckiest people of the whole fucking thing, right?
Oh, man.
But that's what they had to do to get to. That's what society is in this. I'm making it bigger than the game, but if you microcosm to the game, that's who's going to make it in the end. The people that are willing to work with other people and sacrifice some of their own, you know what I mean? Like at the time, personal choice to go for another. Like it gets bastardized, but you know what I mean? Like where I see, that's where the rubber meets the road in a real social experiment type of way. It's like the selfish people get what they get. That's fine, but ultimately they have zero chance of winning the grand prize. And ultimately they're looked at in a certain way.
So that's Donald Trump.
No, Donald Trump would be voted out first or whatever. He would have not. He would have, his charm and a charisma would get, or, you know what I mean, his ability to get people to follow him or whatever people who like him, whatever it is, would go for so long. But then ultimately people would just be like, would have been fucked over by him in a way.
Yep.
Like all the people that, you know what I mean? Like slowly, out of 1,000 people, maybe it's good to have like 40 people on your side. And you can convince other people. But by the time it gets to 100, and those 40 have dwindled down to like fucking 5 or 10 or whatever it is, you have zero power anymore. Your power has been, your glory days, like you called before, are come and gone. And now the future is not for you because nobody wants to work with you anymore. And when you need votes from people, they're going to look at you like, how did this person treat me when we were 1,000? How did they treat me when we're 500? How did they treat me when we're 200? That's how I'm going to treat them when we're 10. And you can't do nothing about it. You just sit on the money that you won before. And so I guess this is where I leave the game. And that's where, you know what I mean? And that's why I love the European Union. That's where it's like, you're not the only game in town anymore. 5 years to build the pipeline like is growing pain and doing all that kind of stuff. But like I said, we live in a world where we have all the steel and aluminum we want, and we go to Malaysia. I mean, is that so we prop up Malaysia a bit? Is that like if nobody bought their steel, they would just be like, you know what I mean? Like they don't need any help. Does that mean like we buy some of their stuff and then they buy some of our milk? Or I don't, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is.
True.
And it's just like fucking, like this is how it works. And you know what I mean? Like, so I don't want to take my ball and go, but you do have a lot of good points. And I'm going to just leave I mean, you got a heart out, so I'm going to let you go on it. So, the thing I do want to say is we might not be here next week because of, oh man, I want to talk about the halftime show and shit. You're going to be at the car show.
I am going to be at the car show.
Are you going next Friday so you don't have to take the kids?
No, we're taking the kids.
You're taking them out of school to take them?
Yeah, we took them last year. We told them that we're going to the car show, and they said, "Are we coming? Are we coming, bro?" And we're like, "Fuck." But we had already bought the tickets anyways for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I heard on the radio there's like a family deal where you get all 4. So that's the only reason they
that's
get to
what
go.
we get.
And so when you told me that next Friday, it's like, is that because they want to go while they're at school?
I want to go without the kids again, but they really enjoy that shit more than I thought they did last time. I didn't expect them to enjoy it as much as they did.
All right. Well,
So
that's about it.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next 2 weeks.
yes, in 2 weeks.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening to the Work Related podcast.
You can follow us on X.
At Work Related.
That's it.
All right. Okay. You guys take it easy.